welcome to Andy's Audio Crap, where we talk about audio crap and all of its crapness. Today the crapness happens to be a Pioneer Model SX-950. This is a beastly receiver. She is big and heavy, but sounds really good, so you get some goodness in the weight. With weight comes quality, right? Maybe, I don't know. They tend to be pretty light and still sound good these days, so I don't know. Let's talk about this dude here, what was done, how it came to me, and so on. All right, today, well, I got it on Sunday. It needs to be back to the owner on Sunday for Father's Day. The idea around this one was just get it up and running and then kind of get an assessment on what all could be done to nurse it back to life. It is, of course, running. There is some really bad popping happening in the phono preamp. I've isolated it to the preamp basically because it does it nowhere else, and I've traded out several different inputs on the preamp side. Still does it. Hell, it does it when there's nothing plugged in. So we definitely have something there. Looking it up, it just basically transistors and capacitors need swapped out in that, and it should fix the problem. The inside of this is very super well organized, as are most of the SX9 or SX series from this era. They're all pretty much set up as modular units, so you have a board for this, a board for that, a board for that. You unhook the board, you can bring it out and start working on it. The era before this was a little bit tighter to work on. Like, when I say era, I'm talking like you know, a complete stylized changed era, if that makes sense. Anyways, so like I have a 9100 over here, and that thing is a friggin' monstrous beast to get into and work, and everything's really tight. This thing is nice and spread out, pretty easy to get to. Starting to do this scale thing on my videos, right? Like 0 being like super easy to work on, 10 being the, you know, among the most difficult. I would say this is a 5-6, maybe a 7, depending upon how detailed you want to get in your restoration. But easy to take apart, easy to get to everything. It is time consuming. You know, you have to take this off, you have to take the bottom off, you have to take the faceplate off, you have to take all the knobs off, and then you can get to the modular sections of all of these controls. And that's what I did, is I pulled everything out as far as like the controls on this lower section here, sorry, and deoxed them. And that's really all that needed to be done in this area. They're all operating really well. There was a couple of staticky ones when I first got it. By the way, when this came in, put it on the dim bulb, it passed, and then tested out the knobs to make sure they even needed deoxed, and they were scratchy, so the deox will improve that. And then let's see here. Oh, after getting all of that deoxed, go to the back side of it and work on the bias and DC offset, make sure that they're back down to where they need to be. And there's a really good restoration article out there on 950 where he has all the specs that you want to bring things into. As far as the features of this particular model, it obviously very feature rich here. You have a lot of tone controls going on over here. They have a turnover, which is actually just a crossover point. So the crossover point allows you to control at different levels the treble. So if you want to control 5K and above, you can control it at that level, or you can control it at 2.5. Of course, you have the tone defeat, which is in the center, so it turns off all your tone controls. You do have 3 sets of speakers that you can connect to it, and then you have your FM settings over here, and then you have basically your input selection here: AM, FM, phono 1, phono 2 / mic. There's your mic input, and then you have auxiliary. Now we have it on auxiliary and playing the turntable right now because the phono amps in this particular unit are popping really bad, and that's a symptom of recap and transistor. Those all need to be swapped out in that preamp board. And my guess is, by the way this is sounding and how I expect it to sound, that we have lots of caps that are right on the edge of their tolerance, and that's just, you know, par for the course with one of these. It's not, you know, it's not bad manufacture, it's not bad build, it's not bad anything. It's just what happens to capacitors and semiconductors, transistors, that is. Filters on this, wonderful. They're very, very, very effective. I have a record that's really, really worn that I usually use on my videos, and when I slap on that high filter, it does a very, very noticeable job. And then the low filter here is to get rid of that lower end in case you get the speaker wobble. I know there's a technical term for it. Somebody can put that in the comments. But anyways, speaker wobble, when your speakers start acting up and vibrating and bouncing real bad. Then you have all your tape going on right here. Of course, balance. You have stereo mono. Then you have loudness on off, you have volume, and then you have muting. Muting really isn't muting in the terms of muting that we know of today. It is muting at 20 dB, so it just takes the volume down. And that switch was testing fine when I had it taken apart and had just deoxed it, and now it's got some action going on here. All right, let's take a look at the back of it. Let's see if I can get it turned all the way around. Here we go. On the back, we have Phono 1, Phono 2 aux. We have a preamp, so we can run extra amps off of it if we want to. Then we have all of this goodness happening here, which is your cassetteness and your remote. And then you have your outputs. Pretty simple, straightforward. It does have power outs. There is a switched power out here, and then there is non-switched. So you have constant, like these will just run all the time, and then this one's associated with the switch. This does have a relay in it, so there is not a whole lot of sparky going on in the power switch, which is nice. You know, the sparky in the power switch causes a lot of residue to build up, or carbon, and eventually they just stop working, or they're not passing as much power as they could be. Let's talk about the sound quality. It's not where it should be. This does need a recap. The Pioneers that I have recapped in the past end up sounding like absolute beasts. They are beautiful. They are wonderful. They are everything that... There's a reason these are sought after. They sound absolutely incredible. Now, what happens is your distortion starts to build up. You start getting interference with the musicness, the signal, that is, when these capacitors get off. And then over time, the semiconductors don't do what they should be doing as far as the amplification and their switching. So you end up with some really foggy sound overall, and that's a really good way to describe it. This one right now, to my ears, sounds foggy. Now, to buy one of these that's not foggy, that has been recapped, rebuilt, and you know, basically reconditioned, restored, you're gonna be paying up. Just to buy one of these, just to buy the core of one of these in good condition, you're looking at about $800 to $1,000. If you find one cheaper than that, great, that's awesome, congratulations. But for any normal person to step on one of these today, unless there's an anomaly in the universe, they're gonna pay about 800 bucks. So plan on that. And then if you take it to a shop, you're gonna have to wait probably 3 to 6 months for them to get to it, because every shop has a backlog right now. this one jumped to the front because it is special, and it was a special request, and I just decided to jump it to the front and not be a jerk. So that's what I did. Anyway, so you get the point. This one got, you know, serviced immediately, but I did not recap it. So if it's a recap, I'm not actually going to do it. I'm going to refer it to a friend, and he can do it. And because these things take forever to recap, so you buy the kit, or you go and you buy all the parts yourself. So you're on DigiKey for a couple hours, clicking and pointing and clicking and pointing and making sure you're getting the right thing, and you're gonna drop 160 bucks. Or you can buy a kit, somebody else has already done all the clicky, and you end up paying 200 bucks for the kit. All right, so I'll pay the 200 bucks for the kit. So now you've got 200 into it, and then you're gonna be somewhere between 6 hours for somebody who is stupid familiar with one of these and can just fly through it, or you're gonna be with somebody like me who's a hobbyist that it's gonna take me 12, 14, maybe 16 hours to do one of these. And so you do the math, you're talking $30 to $50 per shop hour, sometimes $80 a shop hour. Man, I tell you what, buying one recondition between $2,000 and $3,000 starts to sound really, really good. So that is why these are so expensive. There's a lot going on, and they do sound epic when they're good and like wonderfulness, all crispy and new, like warm apple pie smothered in some nice vanilla ice cream. I'm hungry. It's lunchtime. I'm checking out. You guys have a good day. Hey, wait a minute, but put some comments down there if you're familiar with these. These are really popular, so hopefully this video gets a lot of comments. Thanks again. Have a good day.